In this video, you can see how we are processing very large datasets for map visualization. In this case, we're looking at vessel information from the IAS system. All the data we see here is coming directly from Google BigQuery through our BigQuery Tiler solution. Here we have another map of all the species on Earth with data from the Global Biodiversity Information Society. As you can see, the data is loaded progressively as we zoom in. This is 1.4 billion records being visualized on a map directly from BigQuery through the usage of tiles. Here's another dataset of taxi trips in New York City, from JFK to other places across New York. So let's hand over to Javier to see how we can make these types of visualizations using BigQuery Tiler.
So here I'm at the console, and I'm going to be using different data sets. So the first one that I'm going to be showing you is coming from the GDALT project that collects a lot of information about news happening around the world and provided then very conveniently in the form of tables already preloaded in BigQuery. So if you go to the website, you get here information about the available data sets. So that's exactly what I've done here, and you can see there's a project called GDALT-BQ that I'm pinning, and here inside COVID-19 I have this data set called Online News Geo. And if you look at it, and the details and in the preview, you can see that they have for each row a news item around COVID-19, and at the end of it you see that it has already a coordinate point. So if we look at here, we're showing that there's around 87 million rows, 87 million records on this data set. So how do we visualize this, right? So this is a classical example. I'm going ahead, I'm going to do here, I'm going to do a select. So if I wanted to select just the actual locations, not interested in any other information right now, I'm just going to call it something like this, just getting geocorp, which in this case already a geography type inside the database. If I do this, I'm just going to do everything like this, I will just get essentially all the points. I will get 87 million points here in the console. So the way that we actually process this is what we call by tiling it, and that's what this solution is going to show you. So what I'm going to do is going to copy here the actual point. It's still running, it's going to stop it. I need to run this query. I'm just going to be using this store procedure that you will get access to if you join the beta, and you can just put in here what is the SQL that you want to process. It's going to hit. It's going to, and I'm saying here, I want this SQL. I want to call it, in this case, what is the name of the map? The data will be stored in a dataset in your BigQuery project, whatever you want to store it. Here I'm going to CARTO BigQuery maps. I'm going to call it GDALT demo, and can pass a set of parameters like what is the maximum zoom level that I want, what is the type of aggregation of the points I want to see at different zoom levels, etc., etc. There's more details. There's a lot of like configuration options you can get in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just click run. And what this is going is aggregating and preparing all the data so that it's possible later to visualize it on the maps that you see. It's going to take a few minutes for this to process. And now that it is finished, we can go to the location that we specified the tile set that we were going to be creating. So we can use GDALT demo, and you can see it in here. So this is just a regular table, but it has a CARTO partition, so to make it effective for storing it. Now, next thing that you can do with this is obviously just visualize it. So for that, we have a CLI tool. We call it CARTO BigQuery Tiler, and if you just run it with this command here, I'm just going to call it GDALT demo. It's the name of the this. It opens up a browser to visualize the just processed data set. Well, you can see now I get a map of all the locations of each point. In this case, if I start zooming in, represents a new story, but they're getting aggregated. So one of the things that we've done on the querying here was to say that we wanted to aggregate them and count how many points fall within each of the aggregations. So in here I can go ahead, I can actually color that map based on essentially the number of news items or like points that fall within a location. As you can see, as I'm zooming in, again, it just gets more and more. And this request, this map is actually loading directly from BigQuery. Great. So that's just one way. Now, another way, as you can see, is like this one will use your own personal token, so you have to have like the click configure for your account. But another way is to make the dataset public by giving access to a public user that we can give you. And if you do that, then you can just go to this URL, like in this case, it's going to get this GDAL demo. This one, I'm just going to put in here GDAL demo. And now this is a URL that is public and that anybody can access to, right? Makes sense? So the other thing that I want to show you is a few examples, like in here, where we're like processing the data from Global Fishing Watch. They also, similar to GDAL, they're making the data available on BigQuery. And I pinned the project in here, and it's called Global Forest Watch, Global Fishing Watch. It's in here. And after tiling it, visualizing it, you can see here's IIS data, so it's vessel information. And so if I go, for example, to Tokyo, you can see, as the data gets loaded progressively, you can see, for example, the vessels kind of like probably, just kind of like hanging around outside the port